Hi, I'm Cindy Hathaway with Fons and Porter, and today's So Easy lesson is on the Rapid Fire LeMoyne Star tool that Deb Tucker has put out. It's a fabulous tool. If you want a perfect LeMoyne star, this is the way to go. Here's the star unit when it's completed, the block when it's completed. That's actually 4 units. And here is the Rapid Fire tool that we're going to be using today. So I'm going to move this aside and we're going to get started on this. Please bear with me, there's several steps to this, but it's a process that I'm sure you're going to want to try yourself. I've already cut the strips. You cut the strips according to your pattern, whatever size it tells you. And the important thing with this is marking your strips and knowing what you're working with. So we're going to mark one strip A top, and the other strip is B top. And you'll find out why shortly. And then from there, you're going to take a regular ruler. I have the Fons and Porter 8x14 that I absolutely love. And you're going to mark 4 inches. And again, you'll see why shortly. So I'm going to put 4 inches on this. And now we're ready to get started with the strips. As you will see in the block that we had out here, and I do apologize, I should leave this out here. I've used rust color and green colors in this, and to get them to come out correctly, that's why we have to be careful with labeling the strips that we have. I have a rust colored and a green color that we're going to be using for this sample. And each time that you have a rust color, you want to put it on the A piece. That'll make everything come out in this order for you. So make sure you line it up on the 4-inch mark and put your rust color on the A piece. Throw in a couple pins because you want to make sure that you keep them straight. And anytime that I'm working with any type of strip sets like this, I like to cut my pieces in half. It makes it a little bit easier to keep them straight. Now, for the B side, you always want to put your green pieces. So we're going to line those up, again, in the same manner, and line it up with that mark, that 4-inch mark that you've already made. We're going to throw in a couple pins. And we're just going to stitch one of these because one of them I already have stitched ahead of time. Because I'm sure you don't want to watch me just stitch these. So we're going to do the green strip. And we're going to come over and stitch these two together. Making sure not to run over any pins along the way. And we'll just zip through this. Just make sure you keep taking those pins out. And I'm sure you all know the reason why that is, because if one were to, your needle were to hit one, and the needle breaks, that's not good for your machine, and it's also a safety issue. I'm able to cut my thread with my machine, which is fabulous. And now we have this stitched on. Here's the B, and I'm going to swap this A out for another A that I already have done. Now we have both of our strips, the A and the B. The next really important step in this is the way that you press your seams. That will help when you lay this out to have all your seams going in a direction so that they don't get too bulky. So on the green ones, you're always going to press towards the dark. On the A side, you're always going to press towards the light. I know that goes against many people's, what they've been taught, but in this case, that's what it's going to take. So we're going to set the seam like we always do to make it nice and crisp. And then just take the nose of your iron and it helps to open the seam up and press. Sometimes it's good to finger press something like this first so that you don't get the valleys. You don't want to end up with a furrow in your stitching. So this one we've pressed towards the dark. This one we're going to turn over and press towards the light. I know this is probably my least favorite part is the pressing, although it's an extremely important part if you want your patchwork to come out the best way possible. Now that you have your two pieces, we have to start cutting little units out of here. So I'm going to get my klutz glove, and so we don't cut any fingers off. I'm going to take my B piece on the bottom, my A piece on top, and we want to butt these seams right up against each other. You want to make sure that these are nice and square to each other. And we're going to start cutting pieces. And the way to make sure that you have the best angle on here, your 45-degree angle, is you take Deb Tucker's Rapid LeMoyne Star tool, you line it up along the stitch line, the edge of the ruler. You're going to take your other ruler and line it up like this, and we need to pull this down a little bit because I'm running onto my pressing mat. Line that up and then move this away and give it a cut. Now you have a nice 45-degree angle, and that's the only waste that you have. You're going to cut whatever size it tells you. This happens to be 2.5 inches. And the one thing that I like with the Fons and Porter ruler is it has 45-degree angles, lines on it, 30-degree and 60-degree. We know we want a 45-degree angle. We want 2.5 inches. So I can line up my 2.5-inch mark on this side and my 45-degree angle on the bottom. That way I know I have a true 45-degree angle. Gonna slice off. There's one. Keep your sets together, it'll help. And make sure they don't move. Go to your next one. And cut off another section. And so on. And you continue down the whole strip until you have all the pieces that you need. And you would do this for each of your rust-colored pieces as well as each of your green pieces. I'm just showing you one combination for this demonstration. Now, while your units are still together, you want to take your ruler, I'm going to move these out of the way, and line it up so that you have a line. Match your lines across the top of your strip here, if I can hold it still. And at the edge, the tip here where your stitching line is, to the tip up here, your corner, and you're going to cut that off. Now don't throw them away because you're going to need those. I'm going to throw this over here. We're going to open these up. And you're going to take your, let me get this glove off so I can take these apart. Your two triangle pieces, they're oversized triangles, are going to be used to place, just kind of center over the side of your unit that you're working on, because you're going to trim these down later. And then you're going to just stitch your 1/4 inch seam, and I have a couple already done. And there's no magic to that. Here we go, we have one already stitched. But the magic that you will see is in how you press these. Again, it's a certain direction that you want to press them. And the way I think of it, I've noticed in preparing these, is normally everything goes to the left. You're looking at it, you want to press to the left. So your rust colored pieces will go towards the rust and the tan. And your green pieces will go towards the triangle, just your light tan color. And that will help you when you go to put these together. They'll fit together beautifully. Now, I'm sure you're wondering how we can use these. They just don't look like they're a very good shape to use. And that's true. That's where Deb's tool comes into play again. You want to put your klutz glove back on. And you're going to take each of your units that you have, and you're going to line up. Your pattern will tell you exactly where you want to line these up. This one happens to be on the 9-inch dotted line on the right side of your unit. You're going to lay the dotted line right where your seam line is. And this, again, your unit is facing right side up. Once you have that on there, you're going to cut a little bit off each side. There's a little bit there. And because I'm not cutting towards my body, I can do this. There's a little bit there. So when you look at that, that is not much waste to come out with a perfect block. And see how nice this comes out. I'll do one more for you. Make sure that it's right side up. You don't cut from the back side. Cut from the right side. Place your ruler on this line and this line. Match it up with the dotted line. It happens to be a dotted line for this particular unit because I'm using the 9. The odd numbers are dotted and the even numbers are solid. And we're going to just trim off a little bit there, turn a little, and trim off a little bit there. And see, very, very little waste. Now, we're going to put our units together. So here we are, and we're going to stitch them together, but I wanted to show you how perfectly these just line up. It is just fabulous. This tool is so handy in doing this. Now when we go to put these together, you will notice this seam is going up, the rust colored. The green color is going down. And that really helps us to have these seams nest together perfectly. And let's see, pin this, put a pin in. Not right on the line. Put a couple pins in here, just to keep us on a good path here, so that they don't move on us when we go to stitch them. Let me get this lined up. There we go. I'm going to stitch them 1/4 inch. We're almost done with the first unit for our project. And when you're doing this for a whole quilt, you can, what I kind of do is mass produce. I'll do all my sets together and be pressing all of them at the same time. And as you can see, that came out perfect. When it comes to pressing the seams on the back, you can either press them open. Some people prefer to do that. I like to press all of them in one direction. As you can see on here, they all went towards the green. It doesn't matter, they could go towards the rust. It's just, when we get to that part of it, that's a personal preference. But just make sure you do the same thing with each unit that you have. Because otherwise you're going to get a lot of bulk in the middle. So here's one of our units, and I know it still looks a little bit strange, but don't worry. Once you put this all together, then you're going to trim it down to the size that you need. And we have some other units. So you have your first unit. I'll put it up here so that you can kind of see this. There's a second unit. You got your third unit and your fourth unit to make the star. And you can make them in any color combination that you wish to do. I do have a whole one that's done that has not been trimmed up. And this is how ragged it is. And once you trim it up to 9.5 inches, then you're going to have a beautiful block like this. And when you go to trim it to 9.5 inches, you can either use a large square ruler, like a 14.5, 12.5 inch. Make sure that you're following the 9.5 inch lines, or you can make yourself a template that's 9.5 inches. And I would recommend drawing a line from corner to corner so that you can match it up on the lines of your star. And then just trim your edges. And you'll have a beautiful LeMoyne star. And that's why they call it the Rapid LeMoyne star. And I hope you've enjoyed today's So Easy lesson. And I hope that you'll join us again and go to fonsandporter.com to look for more So Easy lessons. Thanks for joining me.